Hi and welcome, I'm your host Vedika. Let's begin. Despite the historical assistance provided by the United States to Ukraine, a significant change has emerged. Reportedly, the Ukraine war aid by the United States is now heading for cancellation. Contrary to previous occurrences, the hindrance in aid is not a result of discord between President Biden and President Zelensky, rather it stems from the actions of the Republican Party. Specifically, the Republican-controlled House has obstructed the provision of war assistance to Ukraine. This obstruction led to a critical event. The US Congress hastily passed a continuing resolution ensuring government funding until November 17, 2023. This move was met with celebration among Republicans, particularly House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who deemed it a significant victory for their party. Although some Republican senators initially considered delaying the CR vote, it was swiftly processed in the Senate. However, it's important to note that the CR did not incorporate the crucial $6 billion aid package for Ukraine. This omission has evoked concern in Kyiv, Ukraine, and contentment in Russia. This resolution has pushed Democrats into a challenging dilemma, choosing between domestic spending and vital funding for Ukraine, ultimately favoring domestic priorities. Despite President Biden and Democratic leaders' hopes for a distinct Ukraine spending bill, its creation might encounter delays and potential funding reductions. Complicating matters, Republicans are likely to demand concessions in exchange for any assistance to Ukraine, further complicating negotiations. This absence of funding holds dire implications for Ukraine, heavily reliant on US aid. Moreover, the looming threat of a government shutdown after November 17, 2023, looms if a new funding bill isn't reached. President Biden, who emphasized support for Kyiv, suffered a significant setback as funding for Ukraine was excluded from the bill. Despite Biden's assertions, the Republican Party's commitment to a separate Ukraine funding bill remains uncertain, casting doubt on future support. Notably, the actions of individualistic Republican Matt Gaetz, who is also endorsed and backed by former US President Donald Trump, played a role in excluding aid for Ukraine, delivering a blow to Biden and the Democrats. The GOP's control over Ukraine aid has rendered Pentagon assistance impossible without House support, disrupting war profiteering efforts. This has paralyzed the Biden administration and prompted the EU to withdraw support. EU and UK officials akin to American allies voiced concern, citing depleted resources hindering further aid to Ukraine. This move reveals a significant shift in global support dynamics, leaving Ukraine in a precarious position with diminished assistance and uncertain prospects for the future. The GOP, under the leadership of Matt Gaetz, has successfully sidelined proponents of aid to Ukraine, aligning closely with Trump's anti-assistance stance. This shift was largely catalyzed by Donald Trump, the prominent GOP candidate for the 2024 presidential election, who staunchly opposed support for Ukraine. Despite Trump's legal challenges, his enduring popularity among likely Republican voters has swayed an increasing number of GOP lawmakers against aiding Ukraine in its defense efforts. Trump's indifference to Ukrainian territorial integrity is apparent. He claims he could swiftly end the war through negotiations between Zelensky and Putin. The subsequent cut in American funding has prompted Europeans to cautiously prepare for a possible Trump return to the White House, a scenario they've often chosen to overlook. The pressing questions now revolve around the Biden administration's ability to swiftly restore funding and mitigate potential damage to Ukraine's war effort before diplomatic maneuvers in the White House can secure further support. In addition, the upcoming 2024 elections cast a shadow over the future of the Ukraine war. The likelihood of Trump's return poses a significant threat to the status quo, promising substantial shifts in the conflict's dynamics. The current influence exerted by Donald Trump and the Republican Party has already begun reshaping the landscape, causing concern among war lobbyists. As these political forces continue to wield their influence, the fate of Ukraine is now more uncertain than ever, hinging on the outcomes of the upcoming political events.